How far?
I'm in the Trading Hub live session.
Hello everyone, it's the Eminent Trader, and this is a quick market outlook on some of the major pairs. And I'll be running through the daily 4 hours, 2 hours, and 1 hour, basically swing trading ideas that you can inculcate into your outlook for the week. And you might be able to get day trading opportunities and scalp opportunities, but having an idea of what is happening on the higher time frame will help you frame your setups much better. So let's quickly get into it. And like I always say, before you get into the chart at all, always identify the trend. What is the current trend of the market? And what I normally do is that I normally zoom out. So once you zoom out, you get to see more information about what's happening in the market. And from this, even by zooming out, you can clearly see that there's a shift. There's a shift here and there's a break of structure here. You can clearly see a shift and a break of structure. Basically, I can even see a breaker block, which is a possible entry also, but we'll get into that. So looking at this now, you can clearly see that market was coming from an uptrend. Quite all right. You can see the breaks of structures clearly marked there. This was a liquidity sweep, by the way. So that was not a break of structure. That's a liquidity sweep. But it created an eye. So this was the last area that created the break of structure. So this is where the shift happened. And the market came down and created a break of structure here. The market created a break of structure here. And now, like I always say, in line with this trend now, this is where I'll be looking for a sell. This whole area is a possible supply zone. Market can sell from anywhere here. But before I say I want to look for a buy, I'll have to see a full body close above here. So once I get a full body close above here, I can now say, okay, if price comes back inside this area, will become a possible demand zone. You know, currently now it is a supply zone, a possible supply zone, because there's a shift and there's a break of structure. It is a possible supply zone. But once it is broken with a full body close, this whole area becomes a possible demand zone. Then you mark out clear points of interest. These are the points of interest I'll be looking out for a possible sell. Then there's a breaker block entry here. There's a breaker block here. So this is also another possible point of interest, depending on the strategy that you are trading. And you can see that the breaker block actually aligns with this. So I can delete this and leave something like this. And if I see a rejection around here, you can go to your lower time frame, find confirmation, and join the sell, possibly back to this place. I like keeping my entry rules and everything. I like keeping it simple and straightforward, such that within 5, 10, 15 minutes, I'm already done with my analysis. I know what I am looking for. First things first, identify the trend. Once you identify the trend, identify the supply or demand zone. If the trend is bearish, identify the supply zone. If the trend is bullish, identify the demand zone. Then look for possible points of interest depending on your strategy. If you are using FVG, look for your FVG there. If you are using breaker block, look for a breaker block entry. If you are using order block, look for the order block. If you are trading liquidity sweep, look for a liquidity to target. If you are trading towards an external range liquidity or internal range liquidity, look for it. But the foundation of everything is that identify the trend first of all. Then mark out your point of interest based on whether it is the supply zone or the demand zone that you are looking at for your entry. But based on what I am seeing here, I'll be looking for a sell here or here. And it has even tapped it partially, but I won't really regard it yet. Do you understand? If you go to the 1 hour now, I'm trying not to spend too much time so that I'll cover the other pair. If you go to the 1 hour, and I can clearly see what I was talking about. Now it tapped into the supply zone or our point of interest or a breaker block, and you can see this small rejection. But then I won't be using this for entry. You can go back to your drawing board depending on your entry model or your entry style. But the foundation is that we have identified the trend, I've identified the supply demand zone and the basic points of interest. There's a breaker block already. That is also a point of interest. So that is that for AUD USD. Go back to your drawing board and find your entry. So if you are trying to buy, wait for the trend to align with buys. And if you are trying to sell, wait for it to enter into the supply zones properly or your points of interest or whatever strategy you are trading, and you'll be fine. So let's go to Euro USD. So same scenario, identify the trend. So what is the trend? It was coming from a bullish, the trend was coming from a bullish point of view. Look at it like this. So the nearest area, this is a break of structure. So this is a break of structure. It's a break of structure here too. Then it created this high. So forget all these shenanigans that is here. It has not shifted. It's only swept liquidity. There has not been a proper shift yet because this was the area that broke structure and went straight to create that high. So it's mainly just swept liquidity and peaked entry from this demand zone. So normally you should be having something like this that should be currently running. Any other trade you are taking outside this is not in line with the trend. Normally, this is what you should have because this aligns very well with the trend. But then the market is very, very, very dynamic. If you are trading on the lower time frame, you would have definitely seen some very good bearish momentum. A perfect example is here, and I feel that was why it swept that liquidity and cleared every possible sell position around it. I expect market to still continue bullish, probably tomorrow or next. The overall trend is still bullish, in my own opinion. It's still bullish, but it's not my daddy's market though. It is not my daddy's market. Well, based on what I have here, the market is still very much bullish to a significant extent. It's still very much bullish. This is the inducement. So this inducement, it came into this other one. This one is a very clean entry, very, very clean, normal setup. If you watch my high probability entry blueprint, this is the exact setup for it. Trend, liquidity, order block entry, SLE, structural liquidity entry. This is the perfect example. You can see how it came and is moving already. Let me even check how many RR it did before that rejection. Imagine it already did 3.82. So that's not bad. That's not bad actually. And normally this will have been your first target also. Kindly take note. So this will be your first target. And that is why the momentum has changed. This is the first target, this is the second target, this is the third target, and this is your final target. So if you're having like TP1 to 4, this is where TP1 will be, this is where TP2 will be, this is where TP3 will be, and this is where your final TP will be. So you keep taking profits from each TP if you're trying to swing for like a week or two, because this trade will not just go straight to TP in few days. It will take at least a week minimum to get to TP and it will play around. But this setup looks most likely to get back in because there's this external range liquidity that needs to be cleared and it will most likely get there in the long run. It might play around there for a while due to the end of the month markets and stuff like that. But by the time the new month market opens, it will most likely shoot up and clear this external range liquidity and it's full TP, which is like 10 hours by the way. So let's see how that goes. So let's go to the next one. All right. So let's see what's the current trend. I don't like this price action. Let's first of all begin with that. This is not a price action I want to analyze. This is not a very good price action. This is not a good price action to begin with because the trend is not entirely very clear. It is not entirely very clear. This is not the kind of setup that I want to analyze. Do you get? These are the kind of setups that I want to analyze. It is not a good price action at all. Look at the current price action. This is like a month price action. Look at the dates. 20th August. This is like a month price action. It is not clear. So I won't be analyzing this. This is not a market you want to start looking for signals. Price action is very, very choppy, not good at all. So let's go to GBP, USD, and see. That is not a good price action. Any analysis you are doing on that kind of price action is just a waste of your time. Except you are planning to trade on lower time frame, but you are trying to swing. There's really nothing there. So what's the trend? Let's see. At least I can see a clear bullish break of structure that created that high. Created this high. You can see that it has similar price action with euro. So you can clearly see the movement started from here. And same vibe, we swept liquidity. Picked this other block also. You can see picked that other block. It's also bullish, same as euro. So you have something like this. I feel like you should continue to the upside for a while. It has also done 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Almost 3 hours. This is also how many hours? 8.5. So personally, this is the same thing. First target, second target, Top target, final target, same vibe, basically same vibe. Because this is where this is the origin of this break of structure that created this high. There was no clear anything here. Do you get? But all these things here, if you are looking at it on the 1 hour, you will see clear internal structure. Do you get? But if you are using this time frame alone to look at the market, this is what you should have. Then you can now go to your 1 hour and see this is just an outlook for you to expect, for what to expect on the higher time frame. This is very, very clear. Picked the order block nicely and cleared the liquidity, and is most likely targeting this external range liquidity. Same thing as Euro USD. Same thing as Euro USD, the same vibe. The same vibe. But let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. So let's go to the next one, which is USD chef. So let's zoom out. Okay, so this is coming from a downtrend. Can clearly see that it's coming from a downtrend. That's a break. That's another break. And it created this low. But the area that created that low has, let me see, it has been taken out. Yes. So there's a shift. Does it actually been taken out with the full body? Yes, it's sure. Yes, it has. So now there's a shift. Now there's a shift. And there'll be a possible break of structure. So after the break of structure now, you can look for very good buys. You can look for buys after the break of structure. So personally, I'll be waiting for this to be taken out with a full body. I'll be waiting for this to be taken out with a full body and create a break of structure. That way, I'll be more certain about my buys, because after that break of structure now, this whole area becomes a demand zone. This whole area like this, after that break, becomes a demand zone. Do you understand? This whole area now becomes a demand zone. Then you now mark out your point of interest from there after it breaks out. But because it is a shift, doesn't mean you should automatically start looking for buys. You can decide to break this and continue and come back to clear this. Do you understand? So do not rush into the market if you want a very high probability setups. Always wait for a break of structure. It gives you more higher probability setups when you wait for a break of structure and you don't just enter based on the shift or change of character. The shift is very clear, but then this is the main shift. This is not the shift. This one is just internal structure. This is the main shift because this is the origin of this loop. Do you understand? This is the origin that created this loop, that broke this structure to create that loop. This is just a sweep, but it's still what created that loop before this movement. So this one is just internal structure. Those that are trading lower time frame will have caught some buys from here, but you are trying to swing for like a lot of days. You need to wait patiently for price to create a break of structure and come back inside your point of interest. Then you look for confirmation and you buy. Do you understand? It is very, very straightforward. So let's go to UJ. Let's see if UJ is not giving GJ vibes. Okay, this still looks good. But what's wrong with JPYPS this period? Because this is not a very good, this is not a good structure, to be honest. This is not a good structure. The price action is not good. No wonder people have been complaining. Price action is not good. Price action is not good. Compared to USDHF, I just did one. Price action is not good. This is not a good price action that I would like to trade based on my own trading style. But look at after this break now, it shifted. They went straight to break structure again. This was the origin. You see, sweat liquidity came up a little. Sweat liquidity again. But let's say it broke. This is a shift, not a break of structure. You can see that the price action is confusing. This is not a good price action, but you can all agree that this is a shift or a break of structure, whichever one you want to call it. But if I'm trying to buy, these are places. You can remember I said that the whole area is now a demand zone. So you can say this is the shift. And this is the break of structure. Then that's a break of structure on the higher time frame, like the daily. So price should most likely come back into this area. So if peradventure I want to buy from here, I'll be looking for my buy around here. But because I can't see an inducement, it is not a setup that I want to take. It is not a setup I would most likely take because there's no inducement. And I don't even like the price action. And it has even broken the breaker block if you wanted to even trade the breaker block. So, but based on my own trading style, this is not something I would enter. But this looks like a good point of interest if you wanted to take a buy from here. This is a very good point of interest, but this is not a trade I would personally take because I don't like the price action. Do you get? So that is that. Let's go to the final pair. So gold has been on an uptrend. If you've been following my sessions, remember when I said that as long as gold has not completely changed trend on like the weekly, as long as you've not seen a shift on the weekly time frame, don't stress yourself trying to sell. And most of the people that were trying to sell that did not listen, they've been chopping serious SLs back to back. And that's the thing about gold. Once gold is impulsively growing like this, it really comes back. And we might most likely see 4K this year. So the only thing you can do with gold is to just join the trend. Because until you can see a very clear shift and break construction on the higher time frame like this, you have absolutely no business looking for sales. Any sell you are looking for is just a stupid risk. It's just a stupid until there's a shift and a break of structure before you can say you want to look for a high probability sell setups. Anything that has to do with sales on gold, you are most likely just playing. You can see evidences. As long as it has not shifted and broken structure, you are just playing. So just keep joining the trend and buying. Just keep buying. That's just my advice to you. You are planning to sell unless you see a shift and a break of structure. Don't bother. Don't stress. If not, you will do give away for the market. You can clearly see. It's very obvious that gold will most likely get to 4K. And it is fundamentals that is pushing it. Fundamentals is solely pushing this pair. And that's just the beta truth. But if you are looking for a sell, or just wait for a shift and a break of structure, anything beside that, be looking for just buys. Just be looking for buys. But make sure that they are buying from areas that actually makes a lot of sense. Do you understand? You can clearly see if it's not coming back, this is the only time it came back. And we fought this one. This is the only time he came back for this area. Came back into that area. And we caught the buy. We caught the buy. That created that back to 3.7. I bought it to 3.7 close from here. You get so apart from that, just be looking for buys. Just be looking for buys. Can use candlestick confirmation of chart pattern or whatever strategy you use. But don't look for sales until there's a clear, you are looking for a long-term sell, like a sell that will be very sharp and high probability. Wait for a shift and a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame. Basically, wait for it. If you don't wait for it, you might do give away for the market. And don't force it. Don't force a sell. For this goal, don't force a sell. Fundamentals are helping it. It might get to 4K. My C39 by November. My C39 by the end of October or early November is very possible at this rate. So it's just at 3.6 last week. Now it's already at 3.8. Do you understand? So it's not something you rush and start looking for sell just because you want to be an early seller. Don't do giveaway for the market. That's just my own advice. So that'll be all for now. Just wait. Probably it comes back here and you see a reaction. You buy it, create another all-time high, and a later consumer. But that'll be all for now. I'll see you some other time. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's the Eminent Trader. I'll see you some other time. If you want to learn from me or want me to mentor you, I only have 4 variants of my one-on-one private mentorships, as you can see on the screen. If you have any inquiries, you can send me a DM via the link in the description. And you can also read more about each mentorship programs via the Linktree link too. Thank you. So these are some of the exclusive benefits you get from me when you sign up with Linktree through my link and get any of the instant live funded accounts or express challenge accounts. Send me a DM for any inquiries. Linktree has the fastest withdrawals in the industry and they've been around since 2017. They have trader-friendly rules and they want their traders to succeed. They have the best customer service in the industry too. You are given a personal account manager once you sign up. A trial will convince you. You are in safe hands. Don't forget to send me a DM for any inquiry.
Follow me for more educative contents like this.